Welcome to another episode of Experience Annex. As you already know, Experience Annex is a platform for role models to share their experience with the world. We welcome three categories of role models, amongst them exemplary leaders, legendary entrepreneurs, and world-class professionals. On our platform today is Ambassador Vincent Sunny Okobi, a seasoned diplomat versed in economic diplomacy, commercial negotiations, bilateral and multilateral conflict resolutions. He has been involved in activities fostering multilateral interaction among Anglophone and Francophone nations of Africa. An internationalist with vast global business advocacy experience, a founding honorary member and patron of several chambers of commerce and associations, a business management consultant to both private and public sector organizations, a resident representative in Nigeria for the AU Diaspora African Forum, and advisor consultant to the Nigeria House of Assembly Committee on Diaspora Matters. He is the charter president of Toastmasters International in Nigeria. Ambassador Okobi has won several awards. He is the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. He received the highest public service award, Order du Mono of the government of Togo by President Naksimbe Ejedema. He received the French National Merit Award, Order of Merit, Order National de la Mérite from President Mitterrand of France. He was decorated with the highest prestigious award of the Legion by President Chirac of France. Ambassador Okobi was also conferred with the Honorary Citizenship Award of Katsina State. Welcome on Experience Annex, Ambassador Okobi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
As you have been informed, my name is Ambassador Vincent Sunny Okobi, and I am a native of Asaba, born in Asaba actually, and Asaba, as you know, is on this side of the River Niger. I have been involved in several activities ever since I came back from the United States, which has enumerated some of them.
Father, a community leader, a retired ambassador. Can you tell our audience a little bit about your family?
I have been blessed with a family of 2 boys and 2 girls, a lovely wife who has been a backbone to the family, really. And we've been blessed with 14 grandchildren. And every activity has been built around the family. So I'm extremely proud of the family that the good Lord has given.
Nigeria is such a vast country with a rich, very rich heritage. So I want to ask, what makes people of Asaba tick?
Say I could place my finger on anything that makes them tick. I think coming from the part of the world that they come from, they strive like any of their time to succeed in life. And I think a lot of them have been blessed by having the fruits of their labor, justified.
Thank you. Let's look at your life as a diplomat, because we have always known you as ambassador. You've had such, you joined the diplomatic service more than 20 years ago, or 30 years ago. What is diplomacy all about?
Well, diplomacy, in very simple term, is the skill of the management of international relations. It could either be on a bilateral basis when one country with another, or on a multilateral basis when it involves a number of nations. And it is actually to deal with the relations between them depending on what your policy or the policy of your country is, and putting into perspective also what those you are dealing with or those you have been assigned to also regard as their own international policy.
You've been a very, very long-standing diplomat. In your life as a diplomat, are there any poignant moments you would like to share with our audience?
It has been quite interesting being an ambassador, actually. I have served in regions which give me such interesting experience, both in my personal life and in the life of my country. I served in the West African sub-region. Essentially, I was assigned to Togo at a time when we had to contend with the Liberian crisis, the Sierra Leonean crisis, the Bakassi Peninsula problem, and the problem in Guinea-Bissau. These were areas that I actually had absolutely no prior experience in, but when you are found in a situation where you have to succeed, you then have to strive to succeed. And I think the experience that I got in those places has led me so well in life. It is in that region that I discovered that we as Nigerians are surrounded by French-speaking countries. As a matter of fact, the joke is that if the fish in the south of us in the sea, if they were to speak a language, they would also speak French. Because in Cotonou, in Niger, in Cameroon, all around us they speak French. And unfortunately, we are shortchanged with the language of French. And I think one of my main achievements in my ambassadorial posting has been to help in making French second Nigerian language. I'm happy that at least today it is now mandatory for people not just to pass in English and maths, they would also have to pass French. Because with French, you can now, especially at this period of dwindling jobs at home, you can go international. You can be employed by companies that know that you speak French. French is no longer that language of love and relaxation as we've always known it. Now it is a language of commerce. And I'm happy that we have given opportunity to many Nigerians, especially our young professionals, to hone their experiences in whatever discipline they are with the knowledge of French, which exposes them to the point where they can now be employed in companies that regard their extra knowledge of French as a positive advantage. So that is one area that I thank God for.
Yeah. You have many grandchildren, and assuming that they want to join in your footsteps as ambassador, as a diplomat, what does it take to join the diplomatic service for people out there who are nursing the idea or the ambition of becoming diplomats?
Well, actually, I think any discipline would do, but you have to have a basic international relations knowledge. And on top of that, it is very advantageous that you speak one or several languages. Because once you start talking diplomacy, you then start talking interaction with various countries, people who speak different languages. So it is absolutely necessary that you must be very, very conversant with some international languages. That is one element. Another element is that you have to be interested in people. Because if you're not interested in people, you don't know who you'll be posted to, what country you'll be posted to. It might be extremely difficult if you get into a situation where you do not like the people you are posted to. So it is critical that you must have that element of
liking people.
Exactly.
So liking people is one critical element. So, okay, as a keen observer, maybe it's my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, I wouldn't know, but let me just pose this question. It would appear that diplomacy favors countries with military might, like the US, like Russia, who can impose their will on other nations. Would you like to comment briefly on that?
Well, I do not think it's a question of imposing their will on other people. I think every nation owes it to its people to know what its policies are, his objectives, and his impression of what the world that he operates in is. And it is very, very necessary, very critical that you would know what the policy of your people are vis-a-vis the rest of the world. So I do not think it's a question of imposing their will on people. It is that you do have something you also have to sell the world. And if it is acceptable, fine. If it's not acceptable, you continue to push. And as Nigeria is concerned, let me limit myself to Nigeria. If there is something that we know we have to let the world know, we would definitely use every avenue to let the world know about it. So I do not think it's really a question of imposing your will. But of course, if it needs some emphasis, then we should apply those emphases to ensure that our messages go through.
Diplomats hardly speak out about anything. They exhibit what I would call see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil attitude. We have Boutros Ghali, the late Boutros Ghali of Egypt, who was also the Secretary General of the United Nations. We have Kofi Annan. We have Emeka Nyoku, the ex-Commonwealth Secretary General, and all the top diplomats from Africa. Why don't they speak out against mismanagement in their countries? Please, can you briefly comment on those?
I think that's a rather harsh description of diplomats, those you have mentioned. That's rather harsh. I wouldn't put it that way. Don't forget that as ambassadors, they represent the country. And there is a policy. There is a policy that must be considered whenever you are dealing on any matter vis-a-vis another country. They still have their own views. They have their own interpretation to whatever is happening around them. But when it involves the policy of a nation concerning a particular subject, as a diplomat, it is only necessary and mandatory for them not to stare too far away from what the policy is. They might express their own views, no doubt. There's nothing that prevents their expressing their views. But every nation has its policy and has its objectives in being. And the elasticity of you as an ambassador within the parameters of those policies are not too elastic.
I mean, can't you comment even if you have retired?
Of course, that's why I'm talking with you. If I were still to be in service, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Okay. So, all right, so let's talk about Toastmasters International Ambassador. It was Toastmasters that actually brought me to you or brought you to us, and I mean, it was through Toastmasters we all came to know you. And it's very, very interesting because without you, there were no Toastmasters in Nigeria. Or maybe some other, it would have taken another 10, 5, 20 years, only God knows. But you brought Toastmasters to Nigeria. We have come to know you as the person who brought Toastmasters to Nigeria. Please talk about that.
Thank you very much. Toastmasters, as you know, is one of those disciplines in life that I wish came to Nigeria earlier than 11 years ago when I brought it, with all humility. Yes, I brought Toastmasters to Nigeria. I think the state of California in the United States has always prided herself with giving two gifts to the world. The first is Rotary, which is involved with humanitarian activities, and the other one is Toastmasters. And Toastmasters is involved in communication and leadership development. Toastmasters, as you know, is involved with leadership development. communication and leadership development. It's today in over 100 nations. And what attracted me was that when I attended their conference in Toronto, I was surprised to see that in the long list of nations that have anchored Toastmasters in their country, Nigeria was not in that list. So I, being very inquisitive about when it involves Nigeria, why Nigeria is not there, or Nigeria is not doing what the rest of the world is doing, I had to approach the members of Toastmasters and ask them whether they knew where Nigeria was. And they said, of course they do. They said, but why are you not in Nigeria? Nigeria is an English-speaking country. By the way, Toastmasters is not only in English-speaking countries, but at least since it's coming from the United States, at least we have the basic foundation, at least to bring in Toastmasters. I said, well, Ambassador, if you can carry the ball for us, why not? So that was how 11 years ago I got Toastmasters to Nigeria. And at least today, we can boast, I think we can boast of over 30 odd clubs now in Nigeria. And there is no greater joy than when you see those who've gone through the Toastmaster experience coming to say, hello, Ambassador, we just want to congratulate you for what you've done to us. Because Toastmaster helps them personally, it helps them in their place of work, and indirectly helps them in helping to build a nation.
Okay, let me come in there again, Ambassador. In the formative years of the Toastmasters in Nigeria, you spent your personal fortune. You, flying to the US, feeding members, hiring the hall in Echo Hotel, and so on and so forth. What really motivated you to ensure Toastmasters took roots in Nigeria?
What motivated me was that I saw the various elements of life and nation that can come through the experience of Toastmasters. And for a nation like Nigeria, with that opportunity to our steaming youth, with that type of opportunity to our too many professionals, I thought it was necessary that we bring those tools to them. And as I said, it is so gratifying to me that it has built individuals, it has built it has changed their way of life, it has changed and progressed, they've progressed in companies and wherever they work, and it helps them to help build this nation. So that's the motivation. Okay. The motivation to ensure that we all help.
Nigeria is a part of what we call District 94, comprising about 60 clubs.
Yes.
And half of those clubs, about 30, are Nigerian clubs.
Yes.
So the question is, how does that make you feel? Looking back 11 years.
It makes me feel extremely delighted and proud. Because when you say the District 94, it covers the entire sub-region, the West African sub-region. Before I brought Toastmasters to Nigeria, our closest Toastmaster Club was South Africa. We would have to attend meetings in South Africa and interact with South Africa if we really wanted to get the benefit of Toastmaster. But ever since it came, it just spread like wildfire in Nigeria. And as you said, we are now the leaders in District 94, which covers the entire West African sub-region. As a matter of fact, next, we're having the conference in Côte d'Ivoire in the next couple of weeks. That would also involve Nigeria, Cameroon, Senegal, Cotonou, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and as I said, all the members of the ECOWAS sub-region are going to be attending this. So it gives me tremendous joy to know that that seed that we planted 11 years ago in Nigeria now brings to these countries in West Africa the opportunity of knowing and gaining from Toastmasters.
There are three things that we don't talk about in Toastmasters, and one of them is politics, if I'm not mistaken. Another is religion, and of course the third one we all know. Toastmasters is about communication and leadership. So this question, would you like to lead a delegation of Toastmasters to Zoro to plant a club there, noting the problems of leadership in the nation's polity?
The very interesting aspect of Toastmasters is that Toastmasters has clubs in all the Fortune 500 companies. They have clubs in 80–90% of the American universities. They have clubs in virtually all aspects of professional, both private and public aspects of life in the United States. And as a matter of fact, every politician in the Senate or in the House has had some element of training in the skills offered by Toastmasters. So, to answer your question, I would definitely be happy to lead a delegation to Aso Rock. It doesn't have to be a delegation per se. Toastmasters can be formed by just, if I'm not mistaken, there is already a club that is associated with Aso Rock. I don't know how active they are, but I know that there is a club.
I know there's a club in Abuja, Unity
in Abuja,
Club.
Unity
I
Club,
don't know if there's
exactly.
another club that...
Exactly.
Okay. Ambassador, ex-President Remi Abere was able to summit Mount Kilimanjaro last year. In fact, she has done it twice. And she mentioned that, particularly mentioned that Toastmasters gave her the confidence to make up her mind to summit Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mount Kilimanjaro, that information came to me because my own daughter also went to Mount Kilimanjaro just last month. She just came back from Mount Kilimanjaro, and I was happy to hear that Abere also made that climb to Mount Kilimanjaro. And definitely, as I said, the impact of Toastmasters is such that it fits into various spheres of activity. And for you to be convinced and to take interest in conquering the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro, then you should know that actually it is ideal to stew yourself in what Toastmasters can offer. Yes, I was very, very happy, and I'm looking forward to meeting Miss Abere since she went to Mount Kilimanjaro. And as I said, my daughter also had the same experience. Yeah. And she has, she's so thankful to me that I also gave her the benefit of what Toastmasters can offer. In the last meeting we had in one of the clubs in Lagos, I understand that Shell has also opened a Toastmaster Club within their establishment. These are what we call in-house clubs. That is for those who cannot attend meetings outside office, within office hours. They can also have periods that they can practice Toastmaster skills within their
climb with Remy, which is encouraging other ladies to climb with her, and then she's trying to raise some funds for the internally displaced people in the Northeast.
Yes.
Okay, coming back, just summarizing about Toastmasters. What advice would you like to give to Toastmasters, the entire movement in Nigeria in general, as the Toastmasters movement gathers momentum?
You cannot go too far if you do not invest in your education. As you know, as you pointed out, actually, it is, I funded the creation of Toastmasters with joy. But unless you believe in making an investment, making a personal investment in your education, it's difficult to lay the kind of funds that members of a club would lay for the benefits that they get from Toastmasters. And my advice to them when they go out spreading the ideals of Toastmasters, for them to realize and tell their prospective candidates for membership that the investment they make into their personal education cannot be beaten by anything. And to remind them that if they think that that investment in education is expensive, let them try ignorance. I think that sums up what Toastmasters is all about.
I'm sure you'd like to, call on all Nigerians out there who have not yet made up their minds to join Toastmasters to hurry up and do so.
Definitely, definitely. And I'm sure they are. As I said, I was really outstanding, really happy to know that we have over 30 clubs. And even before we know it, those around us have now picked on, I'm talking of the French and even some of the English-speaking countries, Ghana, on the West Coast, they've also picked on it. And I think they're developing at the same speed because they know the value of Toastmasters. Okay,
let's just jump to the last segment of the interview, which is about the diaspora. You've been involved in the diaspora movement for about quite some time now. Please comment on your involvement with the diaspora movement. What is it all about?
Initiative, actually. It's a realization of the fact that we have a large number of Nigerians who are outside this country. They have gone to study. They have, achieved their objectives in that regard, but for whatever reason, they decide to stay back in their comfort zone. The Diaspora Initiative actually wants to tap into the experiences that these people have gathered. They have tremendous experience, educationally, financially, and otherwise. And what we are saying is, let us tap into those experiences. We're not saying they should all come back. No, we are saying they should not forget that, like me, a lot of them are coming from villages. They should not forget the villages that gave them birth, the villages that gave them the support to be where they are today in their comfort zones on all sides, all the world over. And these are people who, the last figure we got was that by the end of 2015, they generated funds to the tune of $22 billion every year to Nigeria. Now, these diasporans are those that make it possible for people in the villages to have access to water, medical services, education, and what you will. These are people who have given money to their respective families in the villages. And if not for them, these villages will be going through hell. And we're saying, let us try and make them bring more. Let us help them to continue to build that bridge with those that they left behind. They should not forget, yes, we have problems of light, yes, we have problems of road, yes, we have problems of security, but who is going to solve those problems for them if they remain in their comfort zone? Let them realize that the more they make contributions to where they came from, the faster the change that we're talking about is going to take place. So with the diaspora, I have to say one thing else. The money that they send on an annual basis is more than the foreign aid that we go begging for from Europe and America. The money they send to us, to their respective families, is more than what we get in aid. So we have to tap into that wealth. We have to make sure that they continue to give with joy, because they know they are giving to fatherland.
Okay, so This is a very, very, I would say, it's a brilliant idea. It's an important initiative that you have, minus Toastmasters, you have championed this. How can one become a member? Is it like a club, member of the diaspora? Is it a diaspora initiative or diaspora movement?
Those who have studied abroad, some of them are still at home, where they study. They come home once every year to Nigeria to observe what is called the Diaspora Day. There is today in Nigeria, we're saying that in Nigeria it should not be a question of once a year. So we have an association called NIDAN. Nigerians in diaspora have now decided that there has to be an opportunity for us to continue after that once a year ceremony extravaganza, some people say it is. They come, they spend a maximum of a week in the country, and they disappear to their comfort zone. Now, NIDAN is another diaspora organization that is saying, wait a minute, when we all go back, who's going to tender and make sure that the ideals that we have come to sell would continue to grow? So NIDAN is in that position. It's in the position to continue to fan that flame of progress. So you can become a member if you have studied on your back. Join NIDAN. And NIDAN is also growing. Because, as I said, they have realized, yes, they've been beaten by the golden fleas. They are back home. Yes. Let them come together and see how we can advance this country, this nation.
For the benefit of the youth, which we just transit to the Nigerian
for the
youth.
benefit of the youth and the young professionals.
They say about almost 60% of Nigerians are below the age of 35.
Definitely.
So we are a population of full of youth. What would you like to say to Nigerian youth about facing and overcoming challenge?
Never a result without effort. You can pray, yes, but prayer, in whichever religion, you must back it with effort. You must make effort. And that effort could come in so many ways. Make an effort to improve yourself. The government cannot do it alone. Make an investment in your career. Make an investment in your development, your personal development. Knowing that even the best fruits in the world will take time to grow. It will take time to come to fruition. Never lose hope. Because if we lost hope, we wouldn't be where we are today. We will continue to go along the way that those who have come before us have laid before us. So to the youths, I would say, never lose hope. Continue to put your shoulder on the plow, and there will be progress.
Okay, just one final question on the youth. Well, there's always this tendency to run to glamorous, what I call glamorous endeavors. What would you say to Nigerian youth about career, taking the long-term view, noting that long-term career in science, diplomacy is not as glamorous as soccer, music, or entertainment?
They might not be glamorous as sports, but you should not discountenance any development. Everybody has something in him, given by God, that he can develop. And as you said, Abera is now championing something for the Northeast, for invalids, those that cannot. In this world, everybody is gifted in one way or the other. You can go into the field of education, but if you have the gift of developing your sports qualities, why not? If you are an actor, why not? If you are a footballer, why not? The days are gone when the emphasis was to shun the...
One final advice. What is your advice to people out there aspiring to achieve what they think is impossible, noting the flowering of Toastmasters in Nigeria and West Africa that you brought about?
I think my final advice would be this: you should never lose hope. If you realize that no matter how high a mountain is, if you can apply yourself, like Remia Bere did in climbing Kilimanjaro, and my daughter Awele Adobe did in climbing Kilimanjaro, nothing is insurmountable. You must have put your eyes on the summit. Let the summit be your guide. And until you attain that summit, never lose hope.
So in effect, nothing is really impossible.
Nothing is impossible. It only takes a little more time.
Thank you, Ambassador, for coming on the platform.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.